Hello and welcome to today's video. Today, we are here for a different series, I guess we're going to call it. This series is going to be called Epiccw News. Basically, it's a occasional thing where there's different topics that come up that I think could be interesting to do a video on, or maybe just talk about, but I don't know if I want to commit a whole video to it, so I think that this is a good way to do it. In a format, we just talk about a couple things in one video. So I got a couple topics, and we're gonna go over it. Let's just call it Epiccw News. Just came with a simple thing. It's better than calling it random shit I didn't want to make a whole video about, but wanted to talk about anyways. But I already pre-recorded everything, so I couldn't. I'm not calling it that. So there's been a couple things. First, YouTube Rewind came out. I don't know, a week or two ago. Was that a button for people to... No, it's a spacebar? Oh, it is. Cool. So... Basically, YouTube Rewind came out, and... I don't know, I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it. I figured last year's was absolutely terrible, so... This year's was actually decent. I enjoyed it a little bit. I don't know if that's just me liking statistics of things and knowing random ass facts of who's the most subscribed to person in some country in the Middle East. I don't know. That's interesting, I guess. But what I think is cool about it is I really like that they highlighted what was popular. And I think that the way that YouTube went about it, they said in the beginning, hey, we made something you guys didn't like last year, so let's do something you do. A really good way of avoiding it is just making a countdown list of the most viewed things in each category. Now, are there certain things that happened within YouTube in the last year that should have highlighted in some way? Yeah, I think that there's certain things that, certain videos, certain events that didn't get in it. There are certain things that were highlighted that didn't show in it. For music videos, would have been a thing that PewDiePie's music video for Congratulations wasn't in it, which is higher rated than whatever was number 10 on views or whatever, and also one of his other videos, I think was the top most liked videos of the year or something. One of his Minecraft videos was higher than Shane Dawson's whatever the hell it was called. I don't know what Shane Dawson does. And it was popular. And he talks to people or something, I don't know. Either way, I don't know what video it was. Something that Shane Dawson did talking to somebody wasn't as highly liked as PewDiePie's Minecraft episode, but either way, there were a couple things there maybe they should have shown the right thing, but they didn't. Either way, overall, I think YouTube Rewind this year was better than last year. I think people saying, last year that it was terrible and didn't connect to the community, I think showing the top 10 most liked videos and the top 5 most liked music videos and whatever they did, makeup videos and gaming videos or something like that. I think those are the categories I highlighted. That's what you wanted to see. I mean, people wanted to see, the most viewed people instead of just showing random Viners and YouTubers who haven't uploaded in 6 months, 9 months, whatever. Show those people that do upload stuff and are the most viewed and are the most liked. I don't see a problem with it. I think that's a better way of going about it, and less controversial, as you could say. If controversial is the word you're looking for. I mean, I think it was overall way better than the previous year. Leading into that, there were comments made by H3H3 about K-pop or something. I don't know. I seen things on Twitter and everybody was trying to cancel him or whatever people do these days. Cancel culture apparently is a thing that's still popping off. You say one thing people dislike and you get canceled. And people just tweet hashtag whoever's over party. I don't know what that even supposed to mean. Somebody's over party? Canceling party? Is that what it's supposed to be? I don't know. I'm not up on these Zoomer terms. Okay, boomer. Yeah. I mean, he said that K-pop was a gay fetish or something. I don't know. When I seen it, I mean, I think to say a genre of music's a gay fetish is kind of, um, not the best way to go about something. I think if you say this genre of music is, it comes off bad, and to say this genre of music, which is popular from a country, it also comes off kind of bad. But I don't really know if that's what he was necessarily getting at. I feel kind of what he was getting at was like the insane K-pop stands. Now, I myself will listen to K-pop, not as much as I used to, but I do have a large amount of K-pop on my phone that I will listen to. That being said, I'll have a poster on my wall or buy the album. But there's some wild shit going down with like the insane K-pop stands. For a while, I followed a bunch of fan pages, and those dudes were wild, or people were wild. I would, I like Twice and Red Velvet or whatever. Other groups I like, Itzy, something else. I don't know. All the groups that I like, though, that I followed the fan pages of, which I stopped because there was a million that I was following, and they were kind of obnoxious. The things that, like when an album came out, or the new music video, it was like everybody go listen to it when it comes out, and then sign out of your YouTube account and clear your history, and then re-sign in and watch it again so you get more views. And it's just like, okay, I'll watch the video one time, or watch it two times. Watch it just the video, and the second time, or the video and the music. Second time I watch it with the captions on, so I know what they're saying in English. But that's it. These people go like wild. Like, I mean, I'm sure you see it on Twitter if you go on it. There's like everybody posting fan cams, I believe is what it is, videos of their favorite idol. I don't know why I did it like that, but that's the terminology here. Your favorite idol, and they'll go and post them everywhere. And that's getting a little bit extreme. That's kind of part of what made me listen to music. There were different things. I wanted to listen to other songs, and I also didn't feel listen to Korean songs after losing Soul. That there's a connection there. Listen to the songs a lot with her. So that was a thing, and I don't know, a lot of the K-pop fans are wild. I mean, there is an insane, like, things. They're just posting pictures of every single thing, and it's just like, whoa. They were at an airport. They were here. All these fan cams, and then everybody, like, tweets insane amount for somebody's birthday, and it's like, let's do this birthday event for their birthday, and I'm just like, right. So, from that point, I understand. I think that if you just look at it, the K-pop fans or the stans are wild. So, I can understand how somebody would, see the thing, because it was in the rewind, he was watching it for YouTube Rewind that had BTS for, I think I don't know if it was one or two for the most watched videos, music videos. And that's when he made his comment. Which, again, I think to call a genre of music a gay fetish is kind of wild. But coming from the standpoint of the stands are wild, I can see why maybe you want to make a comment in that direction. So yeah. Other things on YouTube that are wild. COPPA's wild. And their new policies about talking about people's appearance is wild. Both those things are definitely interesting. I haven't talked about either one of them on the channel. The one of making fun of people's appearances and potential threats to somebody, YouTube just coming up with these wild rules. Like, can I call somebody ugly? Like, can I say Lamim's ugly? I mean, it's a fact, but is that taken as, like, you know, making fun of somebody's appearance if I say that that dude looks wild? I don't know. Because he knows it's a joke. But you might not know that me calling Lamim ugly is a joke and something that I say to him all the time. You may not know that on my phone it says ugly dumpster first contact. So, is that me making fun of someone's appearance or calling them an ugly dumpster now in this video, even though that's what I call them all the time? We always insult each other. So is that making fun of somebody? Like, if we go in our video and we're just joking with each other, I'm sure in one of our recent playlists he called him an ugly slut, and I called him an ugly dumpster. I'm sure that happened. Is that bad? Will that video get taken down? Probably not, but there's potential. And then making a potential threat, like, I don't know. Like, I guess if you say to somebody or in a video something threatening that actually has, you know, potential to be a threat, like you hold up a gun in a video and say something threatening, okay, that's something that should be taken seriously. But if you jokingly say something that could sound threatening without having anything to back up that it is a threat, YouTube's terms and policies are insane. Also, the COPPA, the Child Protection Act of America doing dumb shit again, is a thing. Now, go back on that joke. I think that to not necessarily collect data of people under the age of 13, which is another child in the United States, is a good thing. I think to be like, hey, let's not collect data on what, you know, people that are kids, or what kids are doing on the internet. Understandable, because the way it works is you look up something on your phone or your computer, and then you're going to see a million ads for it. And that's a thing. Or you even follow something, then you get more ads for it. Or even something you interact with on your phone. I've been watching Motor Trend app subscription thing to watch old episodes of Top Gear. And I go on Instagram, and I got ads for Motor Trend subscription service. Because it knows, and is learning based on the fact that you use this app, and also following the Grand Tour and following the host from it, it sort of says, oh, you like these things, you know, by collecting data, and then suggesting an ad to you, no matter what you do. I mean, you know, GTA. Rockstar had the newest update for the casino heist. The way I found out about the casino heist was by seeing a targeted ad on Twitter. I'm following Rockstar on Twitter, and there's a bunch of things that I tweet out saying, you know, GTA videos or whatever. I'm going to get the targeted ad. So, understandable from that standpoint of saying, hey, let's not necessarily allow companies, Google, Apple, you know, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, to collect data for kids. That's understandable. But I think the way that it's being implemented on YouTube is going to cause problems. Because, as it's been brought up in multiple videos, what qualifies as a kid's video? You know, what's for kids and what's not? And that's where things become an issue. Also, whenever you upload a video, I'm sure you've heard this multiple times on YouTube, it asks you, is this video intended for kids? Yes or no? And you kind of have to, you have to say. Now, as a smaller channel myself, if I mark it wrong, I don't think it's a problem. On bigger channels, it is definitely an issue. If you mark it wrong, you can get in trouble with the government or something. They're going to sue you. I don't know. This is America. We love to sue people for dumb shit. So somehow you can get sued for marking your video wrong because then Google will put an ad on it because they're collecting data for kids that are under 13. I don't get how that works. But you go into YouTube and it says, yes, this video is intended for kids, or no, this video is not intended for kids. You can also go in your settings and just say, none of my videos are intended for kids. Just like preset. Outside of my videos, they're not necessarily intended for kids. There is occasional swearing in the video, like there was in the beginning. You might not want your kids to watch that. But if it gets to certain things, what is for kids and what's not for kids? And I think a prime example of that is, well, first of all, a lot of the toy videos. Like, certain ones, like what's that, Ryan's toy review, those are for kids. Like, but the issue with that is that's like one of the highest money-making channels, if not the highest revenue-earning channels. So what's going to happen to that channel, right? If they're not getting targeted ads for kids, because most people that are going to watch Ryan's toy reviews are probably under 13. They're going to lose all their revenue because those are the, expensive ads with the targeted ads. What's going to happen then? Also, I don't think you can really police that because if you're an adult, say a parent, and you let your kid use your phone, and they watch YouTube on your account, they're going to get your targeted ads on their video. But technically, they're using it. So how does that play into it? Like, you can't really avoid it. And also other things like, even though some video games, like, take a game like GTA, Overwatch, whatever, Call of Duty, those games are not going to be meant for kids to watch. But what about a game like Mario, right? I see the Mario figures pop in my mind. What if you're playing Mario Kart? What if you're playing, Mario Odyssey or something like that? That could be seen as a video for kids. But there are also plenty of adults who like Mario. I loved playing Mario Odyssey last year. That game was dank. Love playing Mario Kart. Mario Kart Tour is one of the main apps on my phone. So where's that work, Where's the balance between kids and adult on that? So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how that's enforced. I don't know what to say. YouTube is wild. The next thing that I want to talk about, lightly touch on this. It was a few years ago. I made a video talking about how I wasn't really a fan of GameStop. And a lot of people aren't a fan of GameStop. GameStop's not a great company for video games. It's unfortunate they're really the only video game exclusive, store. They got, EB Games or whatever the hell it's called, something along that lines. Which is just owned by GameStop. So, yeah, they own everything. I mean, you might be able to find a local game store like Game Exchange or something, but for the most part, GameStop is it. You want to go to somewhere exclusive for gaming things. You can go to Target, you can go to Walmart, go to Best Buy, buy video games. I loved buying games at Target. Get 5% off with the red card. Don't know why I'm promoting Target. Either way. Yeah, that's the thing. So GameStop just, overall, I don't think it's a great company. They typically rip you off with your trade-ins. And they're not really about, still at the standpoint of not being about gaming. They're just there to make money off the fact that people play video games. You can tell that. Their stuff is obnoxious. Their TVs they play, and there are always people like, I love this game. You should buy it. It's out now at GameStop. It's like, or you could just say the game's absolute shit. But they're not going to. They're going to tell you every single game's great on their TV. Buy it now. In the stores, you can tell the dude's don't like their job. They're kind of just like forced to push this dumb shit on you. I remember when I went in there, multiple times I went to GameStop in the past year with the meme since I've had the ability to drive around wherever I wanted to. I believe it was last year in September. This is before I had a car. It doesn't matter, that part. But it was in September last year. I believe it was for his birthday. And we went to GameStop. This is before Fallout 76 came out. And I seen the thing in there, and we talked about buying it. So I pointed out to him, like, you're going to buy Fallout 76 as a joke. Because, we talked about it and he was going to. And then the dude at the counter just starts popping off, being like, you can buy the whatever tricentennial edition with a Pip-Boy and a bag and a pin. And the dude just goes in. She's like, whoa. It's kind of like when you go to like a furniture store and the second you walk in, they're like, so you want to buy this couch? And they like talk about it for like ever. Or car dealerships. The second you walk in, the dudes just start following you around. They're like, so you want to drive that car? It's just like, yikes. Okay. My computer went into rest mode. So I couldn't see what I was doing. Yeah. So, either way, GameStop is wild. We went in there, again, Lamim and I, we were playing Pokemon Go back in, I don't know, whenever Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced. Which we didn't buy, because we'll get into Pokemon in a couple minutes. Either we went in there, and we were playing Pokemon Go, and it was like some Pikachu event. And I asked Lamim, when we were just standing there pretty far away from the counter, if he called it Pikachu. And the dude's like, Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced today, you want to pre-order that? And it's just like, no, not really. But the best time when I went to GameStop was, I told the dude, I forgot what it was specifically, but I said something to him about, I didn't want to pre-order it there or something, and I'll go, I don't remember what it was. Like, I don't want to come here and buy it or whatever. And the dude said I was lazy for not wanting to drive to GameStop. Which is, I don't know how far away GameStop is from here. 15 miles? 10 miles? GameStop. 10 miles. 7 miles, whatever. 7 miles away GameStop is. Which isn't super far, but when you want to play a new game, typically you don't want to drive and then go pick it up and then play. You just want to get into it because you don't wait to download it. I told the dude, I'm like, oh, I'll buy it on Amazon or buy it on the store on the system. Buy it on Amazon, it gets delivered to your house. Buy it on the platform, you can download it. I'm not going to use my car to go to your store and waste my gas when I can just stay home and download it. That dude was so hurt. He said I was lazy for not wanting to buy to GameStop. I didn't want to tell him that I'd drive to the same place and go to Target across the road or across the parking lot and save basically tax on it with the red card. I didn't want to tell him that. I go to Walmart first. I don't even like Walmart. I go to Walmart to buy the game before GameStop. Absolutely no way. Unless Amazon doesn't have it, the digital store doesn't have it, Target doesn't have it, and Walmart doesn't have it, then I will go to GameStop. It's like the fifth option. And if Best Buy was closer, it'd be on the list too. I just do not like GameStop. But really what I'm here to get the point out with GameStop is, I was there in, I don't know, a mall yesterday. My mom and I were in there. We went to a couple stores, trying to get some things for Christmas. And I went and I just wanted to point out one of the PlayStation controllers that I like. The clear one. I'm like, oh, this is the controller that I like. And point out the little PlayStation cards. So after this, I happened to just walk over and see a pre-owned game for sale. And it was Mario Kart Wii, which came out in 2008. So 11 years ago this game came out. Great game back in the day. But It's old. Mario Kart 3DS or Mario Kart 7 came out since then. Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart Tour. There's been like 4 Mario Karts that came out since then. Mario Kart Tour is separate, but still. There's been a bunch of Mario Kart things that have came out since then. 2 new systems. Like, there's been a lot of things since then. So, I happened to notice a little used price tag on it. And it said $39.99. Now, I'm sure in 2008 that Wii games were $50. I remember every home console game being $50. Because I think 3DS was, or DS was $30, and home console was $50. So you wanted an Xbox, PlayStation, or Wii game, they were $50. Instead of $60 like they are now. And I was just very surprised that this game was $40, basically. So, after we left GameStop, and I told my mom how wild that was, and, I mean, she thought it was crazy too. We're both just like, that's insane that that game is that much money and that old. So, we left the mall and we walked down to another store. And as I was walking over there, I pulled out my phone and Googled, or went to the GameStop website, and looked up Mario Kart Wii. So if you trade it in as a pro member, you will get $8. Or $8.80 or something, I don't know. And if you trade it in not as a pro member and want cash, you get $6. Yeah. So they basically bought that game from whoever was bringing it in between $6 and $8. And they're selling it for $40. GameStop is an absolute ripoff. I get as a business, you gotta make money on things as a store. And also as a person, whether it's a business selling it to you or as a company. Like, I get it. I work for a business and we sell lip balms and skin balms to stores. So I understand the stores have to make a profit. We have our products at a certain price that we still can get enough money, and the stores also make enough money that'll be, worth it to them to buy. But to give a customer $8 or even $6 for something you're trying to sell for $40 seems kind of shitty. I think that is wild because you could, if you're selling for $39.99, so we'll say $40, you give somebody $19, that's half the price. So you're going to make $20 on that, which isn't bad. Even if you wanted to give somebody $15, you're going to make $25 on the game if you sell it. Why do you need to give somebody $8? I find that absolutely ridiculous. And GameStop's trading things are obnoxious. I had the Xbox 360 I used to use a while ago, before I got a PlayStation 4. And one day I went to trade it in. I don't remember what game I wanted to buy. Probably some shit that I don't play, Battlefield 1 or something stupid. And every day, for a while, the disc tray would stick. Because on the old system, you had a disc tray that would slide out. So the disc tray came out, slid back in perfectly fine for a while. One day, it stopped working, so I had to use a knife to just pry it open a little bit. Press in on the button, pop it open. That worked, and then all of a sudden it started working again. So I go to trade it in, and I took out whatever game was in the system, pressed the button, opened up fine, at home, put it in the bag, brought it to GameStop, they plugged it in, and the disc tray didn't open. $5 I lost on that disc tray not opening. They said, oh, this system's worth $20. Which, fun fact, I got $20 from Xbox 360, which I bought for $80. No, I got $15 for that shit because the door didn't open. And if you have a Wii, or original Wii, and you go to trade it in, you don't have the little side doors on it, that's it, gamer. Can't trade that shit in. I find GameStop obnoxious, and I do not buy games from them. If I want to buy something related to a game, I got an Overwatch blanket there, I got a Diva figure up there. I'll buy it just because it's not game related. But I will not buy a game, and I'm not trading in a game ever again to GameStop. On to the next topic. Speaking of things that rip you off and get worse all the time, Pokemon. Pokemon used to be a game series that I loved to play, so did Lamine. We were really, really big fans of it. But as Pokemon sort of evolved from being the series where Game Freak, Pokemon Company, Nintendo, whoever you want to blame, would take time making this game. We had years between 4th gen and 5th gen. Massive gap. Beginning of 4th gen was 2007 in America. Beginning of 5th gen was 2011 in America. Big gap. So, for some reason, it was 2013 when 6th gen started. Then 2016. Then 2019. So the gaps really started to decrease. And the games got worse because in 4th gen, they made the region, Sinnoh, and then they redid it for Platinum like 2 years later. Okay, not much to really do. Just change a little bit of the story, resell it. Then Black and White comes around, same thing. Black 2, White 2. Rechange a little bit, add a little more to the region. Dang. People love the story. But then you come to 6th gen. And again, I think the 6th gen overall was a decently done game. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't terrible. There were some good elements to it. Then you go to 7th gen, it's just an absolute trash fest. 7th gen was garbage. So then we get to 8th gen. And you think, oh, they've been working on this game for 2 or 3 years. It's going to be on the Switch. It's going to be dank. No. I didn't even buy it. It was that bad. I just couldn't come to spend $60 on that game. No way that was happening. So, I don't buy it, but I just see some of the things about it. There were moments when I was considering. I was like, okay, the game might not be great. Lamine selling a Switch to GameStop, fortunately. Lamine selling a Switch. We're not going to play whatever together. But I figured, at least we'll maybe buy it myself, play it, see what happens. Then it comes out that they lied about the modeling of the characters, saying that they were taking out the Pokedex of certain Pokemon, not including them because the modeling was all redone, animation was going to look brand new, but really, they didn't. They took animations from 7th gen for whatever region that was called, Alola, and just turned it into 8th gen. No remodeling. People found the exact models looked identical from taking from Sword and Shield, taking from Sun and Moon. Same exact models. No need to not import everything. Also, what I've seen from the animations look absolutely terrible. So, fast forward to the day. I go on Twitter, and I see things saying that Pokemon Company can sue people who leaked information because it caused irreversible damage and injury to Pokemon. And I'm just like, okay. So I read the article, and apparently people put out the complete list of Pokemon from the Pokedex, entirely of what was going to be in the game, and of all the new Pokemon. And apparently that caused damage to Pokemon where they couldn't market the game well, and couldn't sell their guidebook. Which I've been informed by Lamine, people still buy guidebooks for collecting. I have a bunch of old guidebooks in the closet there, stacked up like really high. But I don't buy new ones because I have a phone. And if I want to know where do I catch a Pikachu, I can look up where do I catch a Pikachu. Or I could say, hey Siri, where do I catch a Pikachu in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
found this on the web for where do I catch a Pikachu in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Check it out.
And I can find it. Or I can buy a damn book for $20 or $30, flip through 50 pages, and then find where to find Pikachu in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, that's the thing. So they're going to sue people for leaking the Pokemon from a book. Again, people loving to sue people for no goddamn reason. There's been leaks before where they're that unconfident with their marketing abilities for Pokemon Sword and Shield that they really fuck up that much. I mean, there was hashtags trending for hashtag Game Freak lied out there everywhere. It was insane. People like 2 days before were saying, thank you, Game Freak. And I'm like, thank you for fucking up the series. But it was trending out there. Pokemon or Game Freak lied. And it was like a lot of tweets. So I don't think that leaking out an image 3 days before is going to hurt your marketing. What I think hurts your marketing is when you say, we're not putting all the Pokemon in the game, because modeling would take too long, and then don't put all the Pokemon in the game for no apparent reason. When you have the most powerful system of games ever been made on, your animations look like shit. So, yeah. If the next Pokemon game turns out to be good, maybe I'll go back and buy it. But for now, I'm done with Pokemon. I will occasionally play Pokemon Go, or wear Pokemon Pikachu pants, because that's still dank, but I'm not partaking in buying new games until there's actually one that's quality to buy. Yeah. The final thing in today's news comes not about gaming or about YouTube, but about sports. Now, I like sports. And being in America, we watch football. Now, do we watch people kick a ball with their foot? No. We watch people throw a ball and run with it. And we call it football. Of course, we're talking about NFL. So, there's this one team who happen to be kind of popular in this area where I live. I guess they won the Super Bowl recently, and they're kind of known for their cheating and having a system quarterback. I'm talking about the Patriots, of course. Now, myself, I'm a fan of the Jets, so it's a year, every year is a struggle to have the will to carry on watching football when your coach is Adam Gase and does this all day, and you can't beat the Dolphins, who were like 0-9, and the Bengals, who were like 0-11. It's a struggle. And it's more of a struggle when you live in an area called New England, where everybody's a Patriot fan. So, and also when you think that their quarterback's absolute trash and is a system quarterback who really isn't that good and gets exposed on a weekly basis, but people tend to gas him up. Either way, what we're here to talk about is the Patriots' most recent attempt to cheat against a team who is bad. So, the Patriots have had many different times they've done sneaky little cheating things, including one game where they got to the Super Bowl because they had some random made-up rule help them out. And another time where they decided to film the sideline of the Jets in 2007. And also a few years ago against the Colts where they decided to deflate the footballs. Or this year when they decided to record the Bengals. And of course, great quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, the GOAT, the best NFL quarterback, mentioned in his games before that they didn't talk about anything important in the locker room against the Patriots in case they had bugged the room to find out what they're saying. So, a lot of people don't necessarily trust the Patriots. So, recently, they tried a second attempt at recording the sideline of a game. So, back in 2007, though, real quick on that, the Patriots decided to film the sideline of the Jets game to get the play calls from what the coach was signaling and saying, and then get to what you see on the field. And of course you can't do that. You're cheating and taking signs from a team and using what their plays are. If you signal, different things like this means something, and you're recording that very clearly, and then you're recording the plays, and either the defense does something to the offense, you will, get an advantage to that where you can know, and your players can know if you see this. I'm just making up a symbol, but if you see that, it means, the wide receiver's got to move to the outside or something like that. Just an example. So, the Patriots did this in 2007. They got caught and got fined and lost some draft picks, got fined lots of money and stuff. Which, getting fined money in the NFL if you're a coach, a high-up player, or the team, doesn't really mean anything. But either way, suspension is what you need. So, recently, at a Browns-Bengals game, the Patriots were allowed in through the Browns to show, I guess, for their website, their Do Your Job series, which I guess is where they show what different people within their team do. And I guess they were going with an advanced scout who will go to games and teams will send their scouts to watch a player and be like, oh, I like this person, let's try to get him on our team. So, they were filming that segment and accidentally left the camera on for 8 minutes, aimed at the sideline in a way you could get the calls, the signals, and what was happening on the field. And then the guys sounded really guilty about it and wanted to have them delete it, and, that way they wouldn't make it all go away. But the NFL found out they're going to investigate it, and we'll see what happens. I'm not surprised. It is interesting that Bill Belichick, the coach, who probably is the smartest person on the team, and damn sure knows everything that's happening within the team, with everybody, happens to not know this was happening. Just coincidentally. Didn't know they were doing this. No clue. No involvement. Didn't know it was happening. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully there's like a year-long suspension and fines of $1 billion and loss of all their draft picks for the next 15 years. No, but I think that at least Belichick should be suspended for a year. That's a thing. And loss of the first round draft pick for the next year or two. I think that sounds like a logical suspension. And then typically there's penalties or loss of draft picks in the first round or two. The first round, maybe second round, and then a year or two later you lose a draft pick in the fifth round or something. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I think it's very interesting that this team, which is so good, has to record and take signals from a team that's 1-11. They're 1-11. Why? Why are you doing this against a team that's 1-11? It does not make sense to me why you would say, you know what? You know what team we need to record against? The Bengals. Unless it was a thing where it's like, oh, we're going to record against a team they won't expect us to record against. You'd be more expected to be recording against the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills. Or who else in the AFC? I don't know. Who else in the AFC Championship? Or in the AFC Playoffs? The one with Steelers. Some other team is, I don't know. Either way, the teams in the AFC playoff picture. You think maybe recording against Steelers, but they're like, no. Bengals, those are our threats. They beat the Bengals like 34-13 or something today. I don't know. Whatever it was. Come on. I knew for weeks they were beating the Bengals. I could have told you 3 weeks ago. Even though the Patriots look like absolute trash now, which is great to see, I could totally beat the Bengals. The only team that can't beat the Bengals is the Jets. So, yeah, that's that. Very, very surprising. Not really. It's good to see him get in trouble, though. I hope that they just get, like, a big, big penalty. Maybe they're suspended for, like, ever. No, I don't know. Maybe we should see what happens with that in the next couple weeks, but that's been Epiccw News. Things I wanted to talk about but didn't want to make a whole video about.